welcome to Above Replacement Radio. I am your host, Chris Gianta. You know what Christy Mathewson wasn't worried about? SIERA. When you're thinking about Pedro Ciriaco, I mean, the only one that can compete is maybe Hannes Wagner's 1908 season. Over there on the other side of the screen is Daniel Kern.
Like, if we just clip together every time we've talked about him on other people's profiles, we've done a Mickey Cochran episode.
I can't get past Rabbit Marinville. It's not necessarily Hall of Fame. It's not necessarily above average, but we can guarantee you we are better than just the standard replacement level college sophomore.
And welcome to Above Replacement Radio, where we're talking baseball kinda whenever. I am your host, Chris Gianta. Over there across from me, as you cannot see on YouTube, unfortunately, as we are back on Springfield College, is Daniel Kern. How you doing, Daniel?
Chris, I'm doing well. We are back on Springfield College, like you said.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time we were in the studio, what we talked about at all. It's been a while, because, I had COVID, and then we had finals. Did we do a show after I came back from COVID? I'm trying to remember.
I think we did.
We might have.
Because I've scrolled the YouTube channel, and we had an audio only episode after the one where I zoomed in from my room.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, we only had one, and yeah, well, we're still locked out.
Yeah, but we're getting reports coming in right now saying, this is from Jeff Passan, friend of the program, saying the meeting between Major League Baseball Players Association and MLB is over. They lasted 2 hours, by the way. They met for 2 hours today.
Wow.
Yeah. There is not a deal. Reasonable enough. Union made a board proposal that included removing pieces of its past offers. I know one of the offers was reducing time until free agency. I know the league isn't going to want that, but players are going for it. And you know what? It's progress. And also they're going to meet tomorrow, too. Yeah.
There we go. So you got a 2-hour meeting today.
How sad is it that we're that excited for, hey, they met today and they're meeting tomorrow?
Yeah.
How sad is it that we're excited for that?
It is pretty sad. It is pretty sad that you mentioned that. When you put it like that. Yeah. But I guess it is progress.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say it isn't.
Yes. Yeah. You cannot deny that. No matter, how bad it was at the beginning, there's progress being made. Even though our expectations are still a little low there. But yeah, so that's a good sign. I mean, there's not too much to analyze there because, you don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, no.
But I guess the best analysis is it was 2 hours this time instead of
7 minutes.
7 minutes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah, they're progressing. Pitchers and catchers, would be projected to report in like 3 weeks. Obviously that won't be able to happen if the league is locked out. So yeah, I mean, we imagine this lockout might end in like March or something like that.
I think spring training gets delayed, but none of the actual games do.
Yeah, I could see maybe worst case scenario. They have to do, they have to have spring training extended a little bit into the real season, and they play maybe 150 games or something like that.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if they did the 1995 thing where it's 144.
Yeah.
And then someone goes
144.
Yeah, 144 or.
Can you imagine? I'm sure we can figure out what they're on pace to do, but I really would love to have known what that 95 Indians team could have done in 162 games.
Yeah, if they had 18 games, so even if they went 10-8 or if they went 500, that's a 109 win team.
Yeah.
If they went 12-6.
Yeah.
That's a 112 win team.
Mm-hmm.
All to
lose the World Series. Yeah.
To lose to the Braves and Greg Maddux, who went 19-2 that year.
Tom Glavine, who won World Series MVP.
Yep. David Justice, who had the home
run in Game 6, a 1-0 game after he told the fans to actually be loud this time.
Yeah. I mean, what a crazy move, but it worked.
Especially the day that they clinched it too.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you guys are one win away from the World Series. How do you feel, David? I wish these fans would care. And a bunch of fans brought like signs of the game, like being angry at David Justice too. And then he hit a home run to make it a 1-0 game, and it was a 1-0 final score.
Yeah, the only offensive contribution.
Which, you know what? Hey, you gotta respect David Justice for that. He put his money where his mouth is.
Definitely on that home run call, I remember there being a reference to him.
Yeah.
Telling the fans to be louder and how he's redeemed himself already. That was pretty sick.
Yeah, dude, it was a 1-0 final score. He homered in the 6th inning. The Indians had one hit that game. Wow. It was Tony Pena.
Yeah, if there's anything the 1995 season taught us is if you subtract 18 games,
great things happen.
It can still be a pretty sick season.
It was. It was one of the best seasons in history, honestly.
Yeah, you can have a great, Hollywood type season to save baseball in your city. You can go 19-2.
Yep.
I don't know what else. I forget all the other stats, but he had like a 260 something ERA plus as well.
Yeah, dude, what a great season. And it was like the first year of offensive revival because it was right after the strike.
And there were steroids.
Maybe
we bring steroids back in 2022. Maybe that'll help revive baseball.
Yeah.
But yeah, things are progressing. It's still not great. It would be kind of sad if they, end the lockout a little quicker and the players don't make too much progress on what they wanted. But yeah, that's, ultimately what you want is, some of this free agency stuff to get sorted out, some of this blackout stuff to get sorted out, even though I don't know.
I don't think the blackouts are necessarily a part of.
I don't know who's in control of that.
I think that's like MLB's like partnership with whatever cable.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's a contract with. I don't think that's a PA thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think the players have much control over that. But
No.
if they did, that would be something to bring to the table. But I don't think they do.
I saw a tweet recently where some website surveyed what baseball fans want to come out of the lockout, and it was pick 5 of these options, and the number 1 option was treat minor leaguers better, and it was 80% of people voted for that. There was a tweet of some guy being did they only interview minor leaguers for this? What baseball fans actually care about this?
Yeah, if you've heard anything about...
Yeah. It's I can't see it, so I don't care.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you knew anything, if you knew 5% of what's happening with the minor leagues, you'd be oh yeah,
we should fix that actually.
Yeah, it'd probably be better to, keep that, keep that, no, not keep that going, but get that going in the opposite direction.
Yeah. Probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, but anyway, I got my flashlight on my phone.
Nice.
But anyway, lockout, I guess we're slightly progressing on that.
Very slightly. Because, this is only the part where it's they're talking, guys. Because if you remember last time, it's going to be hey, the league made an offer today. The players rejected it in 3 seconds, but they did make an offer.
It's The
players only took 7 seconds to reject the offer today. We are making progress.
Yeah, the MLB owners suggested 190 days of service time and 8 years of team control once the player reaches the league. It's what? We're going backwards here.
Yeah. Instead of 172 and 6.
Yeah. It's don't you guys want to stay on your teams more?
Yeah. This is the team that drafted and developed you, in most cases at least.
The MLB owners are proposing $500 a month for minor leaguers. But yeah. Anyway, some news that we've missed since our last, news episode. Because our last 2 episodes have been themed, I guess. We had the baseball stats episode, we had the Hall of Fame episode. Last time we went over strictly news, I guess Hall of Fame was news, but strictly just any news going on was about a month ago. But Kyle Seager,
if you want some perspective on how long it's been since we've recorded.
Yeah, Kyle Seager retired.
That was like the week between Christmas and New Year's, I feel like. Maybe it was right after.
Yeah, I mean, just a weird thing. I just realized, yeah.
Definitely leaving some money on the table.
Kyle Seager retires after a career high in home runs and RBI. I know
with a 100 OPS plus.
Yeah, I understand that's not everything, but still pretty interesting there. I guess he did. Yeah, he did hit 212. Yeah, Kyle Seager retires. A solid career from Kyle Seager. Career 112 OPS plus. On Baseball Reference, he had 36.9 wins above replacement. He just always kind of seemed like, and always healthy too. I mean, I think maybe what's most fascinating from Kyle Seager's career is like looking at the game total outside of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
From 2012 on, you got 155, 160, 159, 161, 158, 154, 155, and then 2019 is 106, and then 2020 60, which is shortened season. Led the league, by the way, with 60. In 2021, 159. So, he just always seemed like he was the guy, especially when the Mariners were not as good. He was like the lefty you didn't want to face in the Mariners lineup.
Yeah. His prime was like 2014 through 16. That's what I think of when I think of Kyle Seager.
Yeah, we're looking at it. Like from 2014 to 2016, he had an 808 OPS, 126 OPS plus. Yeah, he was pretty dangerous. Yeah, had two 6-win seasons in his career, and 3 5-win seasons. So, like, for a guy who is retiring at the age of 33, a pretty solid career from Kyle Seager.
It was. It's also cool that he spent it all with one team. The thing, obviously it didn't end the way he wanted it to, but like the last 3 games he played in his career were like, you could argue they were the most important.
Yeah, you very well could.
Outside of like maybe game 162 in 2014. That probably might be one that tops it, but like just given like they were at home, there was so much momentum going their way. Like,
yeah,
those were probably the 3 biggest games of his career, and they were the last 3. Which is a cool way to go out, even if they lost 2 of those 3.
Yeah, very true, very true. Because I mean, I guess it also points out that it's kind of an unfortunate situation where he played with the same team for 11 years and didn't get to the playoffs. Obviously not his fault, but yeah, like I think. Probably a generally overlooked player Kyle Seager was. I'm trying to find where he was. Since 2014, 8th among third basemen in F4. So, he was, since 2014, he was kind of a top 10 third baseman. Just kind of flew under the radar for the most part. And, I mean, just going to enjoy retirement now. And after just kind of 2 opposite directions. His brother just signed a 10-year deal, and he's retiring now.
I was thinking about it. I was like, he probably left some money on the table. Like, he definitely could have gotten a contract, probably not from the Mariners because we knew back in April that they weren't going to re-sign him.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, you know what? His family's all set. Like, he's already made $101 million in his career. It's not bad.
Yeah.
And his brother just cashed in big time.
Right.
So I think they're all set.
Yeah. By Kevin Mather's words.
Yep. To the Seattle Rotary Club.
Yeah. I mean,
how wild of a story was that in retrospect?
Talk about getting value for being in that club, like just getting exclusives.
Yeah.
Just wonderful value if you're a Seattle Rotary Club member.
Yep.
But yeah, Kyle Seager. Maybe it was a thing where like, yeah, he could have signed elsewhere, but it just didn't feel right to be on another team.
It's funny. There are some players where it's like, that they're not. Like, Kyle Seager's not going into the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Like, unfortunately, a lot of baseball fans out of Seattle are going to kind of forget his career over the next few years. But, like, it would feel disgusting to look at him in any other uniform.
Yeah, yeah.
Like another perfect example is like Brett Gardner.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the another one. It's like I can't see him in any other uniform. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Brett Gardner for sure is one of those guys. I guess someone of a bit of a like this guy. This guy would have been a Hall of Famer if not for injuries, but like Pedroia
Yeah.
also but yeah, Gardner is kind of the parallel to Seager for sure.
Obviously, like I'm always rooting for this guy, and I wanted to see a cool comeback, but I was kind of content with the fact that that Felix Hernandez never actually pitched for another team. Like he signed with the Braves and the Orioles, but he never actually pitched for them.
That's true. Yeah, he only ever because if you go to his baseball reference page,
It ends in 2019.
It is only with Seattle. I wonder
If he's still out there.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone else has done that where like they signed with a team, like they played with one team their whole career, signed with another team but didn't make it out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm trying to think, but
I can't either.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, Seeger. Yeah, unfortunately, his career will probably fly under the radar, but he made his money, got some home runs out of it. 242 home runs in his career, 1,395 hits, and we'll be maybe watching his brother play for the Rangers
for a division rival.
Yes.
How unfortunate is it that the year that his brother goes to a division rival, his team doesn't sign him back?
Right.
That would have been great PR.
Yeah, it would have.
19 times a year.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
It would have been the Matt Barnes facing George Springer conversation piece.
But that one's way cooler.
Oh, the Seager one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Because
For
they
sure.
used to face each other once every 3 years. It would be this big event. And maybe it wouldn't be as special because it would keep happening, but it would keep happening.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Yeah. It would be. Yeah. It's like if Eli Manning went to the Texans instead of the Giants. Like,
You know what? Imagine obviously he's retired, but imagine if Kyle Seager just signed with the Rangers.
Oh yeah.
Like who do they got playing third this year? Because they got
Kiner Falefa.
Yeah, because they already got his brother playing short.
Yeah, Kiner Falefa's been cold since June.
He's good. I'm pretty sure he's decent with defense though. But yeah, he had a 670 OPS.
Yeah.
85 OPS plus.
I'm sure Seager would do better.
Yeah, obviously it's not going to happen, and he
They're like
he went out
platoon.
on his own terms, which is fine. That would have been cool though. I don't know why I never considered that until now. Probably because he retired, and I haven't thought about him going anywhere else. Because
Right.
you're not supposed to.
Right. Dang, I didn't realize Kiner Falefa had 2 defensive wins above replacement last year.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, so
he said catcher, shortstop.
oh yeah. So yeah, cheers to Kyle Seager, and then another retirement that happened, a little closer to our hearts as we watched him win some World Series, Red Sox and Cubs, and ended up 3-time World Series champion Jon Lester, a very good left-handed pitcher. He's a guy. I mean, I guess anytime someone retires, you kind of look at a Hall of Fame case and you're like, oh, Jon Lester, kind of Hall of Very Good type career, although fantastic playoff performer.
I was going to say, that might be, if anything pushes him over the edge, it could hypothetically be that.
Right. He ended his career, after a season splitting time with the Nationals and the Cardinals. I think this definitely made this made sense for sure.
I had a cool stat on Jon Lester.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was your last tweet before Hoop Hall.
Yup.
Before we became a high school basketball analysts.
Hang on. Yeah, pitchers with a 625 win-loss percentage and a strikeout rate above 20%, minimum 2,500 innings pitched. The list is Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson, Pedro Martinez, Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, and Jon Lester. Pretty good company. Not bad.
Yeah, Yeah, very good company. Yeah, the guy won games. He was on winning teams, and he put teams in good positions to win.
Yep.
Retires with a career 1.17 ERA plus, 3.66 ERA, 117 or 3.78 FIP, exactly 200 career wins, which is like that's kind of hard to do in today's game. Is get 200 career wins, and he was able to do that. And I think what you have to talk about most with Jon Lester is what he did in the playoffs for sure.
Yeah.
Career postseason ERA was 2.51. Somehow he
Not to mention 154 innings pitched too.
Yeah, 154 innings pitched. Yeah, basically pitched a full season in the playoffs and had a 2.51 ERA. And that spans across like all times of his career. When he was a rookie, he was performing extremely well, and when he was kind of out of his prime, after like 2016, he was performing extremely well. Like his last playoff start was when he was in his age 34 season, where he went 6 innings and allowed 1 run to the Rockies. His first playoff start was when he was 23, at 5 2/3 shutout innings to the Rockies, ironically enough. So yeah, like he was someone you always trusted with the ball when it mattered most.
Absolutely. How about a lot of this is sort of cherry picked because of the situations he was put in, but a 59.8% championship win probability added in the playoffs.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. That quite a bit.
It is cool.
Yeah, he definitely contributed like to the 07 championship, definitely the 13 and 16 championships.
I mean, just like
you can't do that without Jon Lester.
Pitched in 3 World Series, 35 2/3 innings pitched, 4-1 with a 1.77 ERA, a 4.25 strikeout to walk ratio. And yeah, I mean that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I want to see I might be able to get some stats on Jon Lester. I don't know. I think I might pause this for a second.
Okay.
I apologize. I did not prepare. But okay, so it feels necessary to have a Jon Lester like playoff game finder stat, so I found one. So since 2000, he is tied for since 2000, he is tied for the most postseason games with 5+ innings and 1 earned run allowed, with Clayton Kershaw. So he had 11 postseason games with 5+ innings pitched and 1 earned run or less allowed, and a lot of those he went deep into the game as well, 7 innings, 8 innings, and put whatever team he was pitching for in a great position to win.
He did. He pitched in 1 wild card game in each league, 3 ALDS, 3 NLDS, 3 ALCS, 3 NLCS, and 3 World Series.
Yeah. He just he has fingerprints all over the
league.
late 2000s, 2010s, and 2010s, whatever you call it, playoffs.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, man, his teams did not support him though.
No, 9-7 record.
And I went through where you click the first one and the last one.
Yeah.
The team went 12-4. Teams went 12-14 when he pitched. That just makes no sense.
That just doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, and definitely not his fault. 2.51 ERA in the playoffs. Yeah, weird, very weird. But he definitely stepped it up for the playoffs. Whether his team supported him or not was up for debate. But Jon Lester, great career. He'll always have a special place in our hearts, for various reasons. Any game in that 2013 run.
Yeah, 0.59 ERA in the 2013 World Series in 2 starts.
Yep. Yeah.
If it wasn't for David Ortiz hitting 688, he probably would have been World Series MVP.
Very true. That's funny. Yeah, like, dang. He had a lot.
He gave up 1 run in 15 and a third innings, and nobody considered him for World Series MVP.
Yeah, he had, because I remember one of our first episodes we ever did, we ranked the World Series MVP performances of
the decade, because it was right after the Steven Strasburg one.
Yeah, of the decade. And Lester's 2013 might be better than like eight of those.
Yeah.
It might be better than David Freeze's. You could argue.
It was definitely better than Salvador Perez.
It was definitely better than Salvador Perez and Edgar Renteria.
And Ben Zobrist, even with the, Ben Zobrist definitely.
Yeah. And Zobrist and Strasburg and Pablo Sandoval and Steve Pearce.
Probably the only ones that definitely beat it out were Ortiz and Madison Bumgarner.
And Mad Bum, yeah.
Yeah.
Where Mad Bum basically did what Lester did, but with 5 2/3 more innings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just
and also out of the bullpen, because his team needed to bring it to his 7th game.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have a 688 hitter.
Yeah. He had 2 wins and a save, and allowed 1 run. It's crazy. But yeah, Jon Lester. You always wanted the game in his hands.
Yeah.
And always delivered from the time he was 23 in his first ever World Series to his last playoff start when he was 34. Also, I guess what you could mention is he was a bit of a comeback story. He had cancer when he was very young in the league, recovered from that, and came back and had a very, very good career with the Red Sox, Cubs.
I think he'll, we talk about Hall of Fame cases. I don't necessarily think he'll get in, but I think he'll stay on the ballot at least.
Yep. Yeah.
We'll be having discussions about him.
Especially as the ballots are going to be getting shallower. As time goes on.
Well, I mean, Buster Posey's going to be on the same first ballot as him. Buster Posey should get in.
True.
It's a different story, and we don't have to worry about it for 5 years. But, yeah.
Yep. So we had those 2, pretty big retirements, and then some big news with Ken Rosenthal.
Yeah. Wow. Ken Rosenthal got fired from MLB Network for, I don't even know if he did this on the network. I think in The Athletic he published an article criticizing Rob Manfred. I don't even think he did it on air.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It's like, people are going to say, so yeah, Ken Rosenthal fired from MLB Network for, I guess, criticism. I didn't read the article. I'll be honest. I've been logged out of my Athletic account for a while. This is they're running a they're running a scam. They're probably going to try to get me to pay another subscription even though I'm already subscribed. I have no idea why I'm not logged in.
Yeah.
It's a big issue.
Whatever.
But
I'm in the same boat.
But anyway, so I didn't read what he said. I'm sure it was nothing too harsh,
Well, he went off. He had another column recently where he let everything out.
Yeah, I imagine, but I imagine he was probably kind of towing the line in the original article, and I can't be too surprised by it because in one of our interviews that we did on this show, we learned exactly why things like this have a possibility of happening. Yeah, and Chris Rose mentioned. I don't think he mentioned it in our interview. I think he mentioned it in the little presentation that we had the pleasure of seeing the Q&A that he had with in Chris Cotillo's workshop. But I think he said the thing of MLB Network. It is, I enjoy the network for sure, but it is state-run television.
Yeah. Admittedly, I have had it turned off. Not that they've been really showing anything, but I've had it turned off during the lockout.
Oh, what? You're not gonna watch David Wells's Perfect Game?
Yeah.
Wow, for the 8th time. Yeah, no. But yeah, it is state-run television, and I can't be surprised if one of their employees is kind of, criticizing the league. It's I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but it's pretty predictable.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of what happened. And maybe we'll be able to appreciate Ken Rosenthal a little more now that he has that kind of leash taken off of him, and he can kind of, especially in a time like this where his opinion and being open is probably as crucial as it's ever been.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's the silver lining you can add to this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm glad that, like, he's, like, I'm going to miss seeing him on MLB Network, obviously. Like, he would show up on, like, Hot Stove during the offseason, various times during the regular season, the postseason. But, like, he'll still have Fox, he'll still have The Athletic, so, like, he's not, like, if you're a baseball fan, like, he's not going anywhere. Like, you'll still see him on your TVs, you'll see him on Twitter. Like, he'll be around, just not there.
Yep. Yeah, he will be all good. I think probably now his most where you get the best Ken Rosenthal is on The Athletic, where he's able to write.
Especially now that he can write about Rob Manfred without any consequences.
Exactly. Like, what are they going to do? Remove his press pass? I don't see that happening.
No.
So yeah, but still, not the greatest thing to happen, but there's some silver linings you can add.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what else? Do we get into the Hall of Fame now?
Let's do it. So this is the last show that we're going to record before the announcement. I think we're going to try to do like a live reaction like we did last year.
Yeah.
So as it stands right now, I'll just go down the line here. 187 ballots have been released. That is 47.7% of all ballots. So let's assume we're going to be around 50% by the time election happens, because I'm sure there'll be some released tonight, some tomorrow beforehand. The election is going to be on MLB Network at 6 Eastern time. Coverage will start before then. The announcement will probably be made around 6:30 because there's a whole thing beforehand.
Yep.
If you want to see Tom Verducci's ballot, tune in at 6. Yeah. Because I promise you they'll do that again. So just going down the line, Bobby Abreu is at 10.7% of the vote. He has exactly 20 votes, which is how many you need to stay on the ballot. So
nice.
Because he's netted -2. And one of my big takeaways that I've seen from this year is that it is such a stacked ballot that a lot of people have been getting dropped a lot to make room for others. Like Ortiz is a first year that's been getting a lot of support. A-Rod is a first year that's been getting some support. Jimmy Rollins has been getting some support. That's really it. There's been a couple Ryan Howard votes, some Tim Lincecum votes, Joe Nathan's, just like a handful of those. I don't think any of them are staying on the ballot, but regardless, Bobby Abreu will be staying on the ballot, which is good because I think next year he can probably, in his 4th year, climb up to 10%, as sad as that sounds.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens are at 77.5 and 76.5%. This is it for them. It's not happening.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, last year, they were 20% less than, they lost 11% from pre-election results to actual results. So expect them to be around like 65-ish%, probably a little lower even.
Right, exactly.
Mark Burley is at 10 votes, 5.3% of the ballot. He's netted -3. He's in danger of falling off after 2 years.
Yeah.
Kind of just for him, I'd say just like a, wrong place, wrong time. Like this is not a great year to be a borderline candidate.
Very true.
Who's just trying to stay on the ballot.
It is very true, and it makes you more angry that like Bonds and Clemens and Schilling are on their 10th ballot instead of getting in when they were kind of supposed to, because it creates this problem.
Well, it's also sad that this problem is created for one person maybe to go in.
Yeah, exactly.
Todd Helton has gained 12 votes this year. That is the most of anyone. He's had a pretty substantial rise in support over the last couple of years. He was at 44.9% of the vote last year. In his 4th year, he's going to climb over 50%. I think he's on a very good track to make it at some point. I could see him being like a 8th through 10th year ballot. He might be with Larry Walker as a 10th year.
Yeah.
It might just be a theme. But he's at 57.8% of the vote now. I would expect him to land around probably like between 50 and 55 tomorrow night. Speaking of people in danger of falling off the ballot, Tim Hudson and Tory Hunter.
Yep.
Tim Hudson has 5 votes. Yeah, well, first of all, Tim Hudson was at 5.2% of the vote last year, so he was literally fractions away from falling off, and he's netted -3 this year, which, I don't mean any disrespect, but like I'm okay with Tim Hudson falling off the ballot, and I don't think anything was ever really going to come of his Hall of Fame case anyway.
Yeah, that was a hard one.
I was surprised he even stayed on the ballot, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, and if Burley is falling off the ballot, then Hudson is going to be falling off the ballot as well.
Yeah. Tory Hunter is at 1.6% of the vote. He only has 3 votes, so he needs 17 more. In 50% more, he's netted -4. He's probably going to fall off the ballot as well. I can't believe he only has 3 votes.
I remember him.
He had 9.5% of the vote last year.
Yeah, I remember him getting people saying oh, Tory Hunter isn't getting enough, and it was kind of making me a little it was getting me a little antsy because I was like, this is you need to be talking this way about Andrew Jones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not upset by him falling either.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. Speaking of which, Andrew Jones, he's in his 5th year already. Time is flying by.
Yeah.
That's insane to me. He's at 49.7% of the vote. He's gained 10 votes from last year. He was at 33.9% last year. That's crazy. It is very alarming to see how little support Andrew Jones actually gets.
Yeah, I mean, I think in my power rankings he's like number 5 for me.
Yeah.
Because he, when he had his production, he had his production.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had a very high peak for sure.
Yeah, but his career was a very steep roller coaster, I would say.
Yeah, it was.
Like it went way up and then way down.
Yeah, I think the stat I like is like from 98 to 2006, he was like second behind Barry Bonds and Warriors.
I think it was Bonds, A-Rod Jones.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, I think it was that.
Yeah. His 2005 season is the only in history with 50 home runs and a 2+ D WAR.
Yeah, and that was like he had many seasons around close to that as well.
Yeah. Anyway, he's at 49%. I would expect him to reach 40% this year, but not much more than that. Jeff Kent is in his 9th year on the ballot. He has 31% of the vote, and he's netted -2.
Yep.
Shockingly, Jeff Kent, it is very funny because Jeff Kent, he doesn't get a lot of support, but it almost feels like he gets too much support.
True, yeah. Well, yeah, he was on Verducci's ballot, right?
He was on Shaughnessy's ballot.
Oh yeah.
For the 2nd straight year, he submitted a Kent-only ballot.
Ugh.
He actually did better in the actual results last year than in the pre-election results.
Oh yeah. Well, that makes sense.
He was 1.7% better on the private ballots than the public ballots last year.
Like he is one of those guys where if you're not looking at the analytics, then you're probably
it's just
more of a Jeff Kent guy.
He's it's irritating because it's he's not a threat to make the Hall of Fame. But it's why are we voting for him?
Yeah.
It's I'm not I do not have to worry about Jeff Kent going into the Hall of Fame. It's not happening. But it's still just annoying that people vote for him because there's always a 10-person ballot, like a 10-player ballot that just says Jeff Kent on it, and it's Billy Wagner's not.
Yeah. Right.
It's stop.
It's frustrating.
One of them actually has a chance.
Yeah, it's very very true. Very true. But Daniel, did you know most home runs by a second baseman?
No way.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
They're very known for their power capabilities.
For sure. I mean, I can't believe he beat out Nat Bourgeois.
Yeah, me neither.
Who played on fields with 500-foot fences to center field.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised he beat out Gehringer. Charlie Gehringer. Just a power machine over there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. That is pretty frustrating when there's a 10-player ballot and you leave off a guy because you got Jeff Kent up there. Most home runs by a second baseman.
Yeah, like I said, it's just it doesn't last year. Going into last year, Omar Vizquel was a threat to make the Hall of Fame. He was at 50% after his 3rd year. He was gonna make it, and then obviously, things came out.
Yeah.
And now he's not making it at all. We'll get to him later, but the way I felt about Omar Vizquel then is not how I feel about Jeff Kent because I know he's not getting in.
Yeah.
Before 2021, I was well, Omar's gonna get in. It's just a matter of when it happens. It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck to lose that battle because I know I'm right.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of 62-year-olds just being Why aren't they talking about Jeff Kent more?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, he's in his 9th year. We get one more year of that, thankfully. And honestly,
yeah.
there's probably not going to be a lot of. There was a lot of 10-player ballots this year. I'm on the website right now. Let's see.
Yeah, that's a good sign.
I just want to get the exact number. 44.9% of public ballots had 10 players on it. That is a lot.
Hell yeah.
Last year that number was 15.3%.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
honestly, we're probably going back to that next year.
True.
It sucks. This was a great, when you look at that number, wow, 44% of public ballots heading into the election were 10 players. That seems like it was a great year. And, it'll be a good year for progress, but, I don't feel like a lot of it's going anywhere.
Yeah, well, considering, all the guys that are going to be, falling off the ballot this year, and then Ortiz might get in.
Yeah,
it's probably
especially
gonna go
because
back
it's
down.
a lot of people were adding people to drop Vizquel, a lot of people were adding people to drop Schilling. It's all I don't know. Tim Lincecum has 6 votes, 3.2%. I don't think he's staying on.
Now that I think about it,
He could though. I wouldn't I would be surprised if he stayed on, but I would also not. You know what I mean?
Now that I think about it, my 2023 mock ballot might not have 10 players,
Yeah.
given there's going to be 4 guys or
4, maybe 5 guys off the ballot that you voted for this year.
yeah, and I think there were 13 that I would.
And there's
considered.
only one first year that has a chance next year.
True.
And even
yes.
then, that's when we start the Houston Astros
Yeah,
conversation,
Yeah.
which is going to be so stupid, but whatever.
Yeah. Just when you thought you were done with, cheating stuff.
Yeah, it's hey, you got A-Rod this year. Guess what we got next year? We get the very start. This is going to go on for 30 years.
Yes.
It's going to go until Carlos Correa retires when he was 24 at the time.
Yeah. You got. It's Kyle Tucker was in the system when the Astros cheated in 2017. Do you really want him in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, Tim Lincecum, Joe Nathan, kind of same thing. Lincecum, I guess hypothetically, it's not impossible for him to stay on. I don't think he does though.
Yeah.
David Ortiz. Do you have anything else to say about Tim Lincecum or Joe Nathan?
Tim Lincecum had 3 or 4 good years, but
and they weren't even good years. They were great years. That's the thing about Tim Lincecum is when he was at the top of his game, he was the best pitcher in the world.
yeah, just casually in his first qualifying season ever, 7.8 wins above replacement, 7.4 the next year, and then that's when he's 24 and 25.
Yeah.
It would be like if Logan Webb had a Cy Young year.
Yeah, and then just dropped off after that, and
Yeah.
then played for the Angels.
Right.
Yeah.
And then was going to close games for the Rangers for some reason. I don't know.
David Ortiz is at 84.5% of the ballot. I feel pretty optimistic
Yeah.
that he'll get in. Because Bonds and Clemens, the difference between their public and private ballot was 11.6%. If David Ortiz was at let's say 11%, he's at 73 point maybe 72.9 or something like that. But I don't think he's gonna have that steep of a drop off. I think he's
Right.
gonna be between 75 and 78.
Right.
Because I do think there is gonna be some sort of drop off because there is the Mitchell report allegations.
True. Very true.
But I don't think it's going to be steep enough for him to not make it. I'd give it a 65% chance he gets in tomorrow.
Yeah, because even there was some guy who was he was called out for not voting for any of the other potential steroid guys, but voting for Ortiz. I feel like there's a lot of guys.
There's been so much of that. Well, there's been Ortiz A-Rod comparisons.
Yeah.
Which is if you read about A-Rod once, you'd be oh, okay.
You look at it's oh, why did Alex Rodriguez not play in 2014? Oh.
Oh.
It's did he have an injury? Oh wait, no, he was suspended by Major League Baseball for steroid use. A-Rod and that's also me speaking as someone who put A-Rod on the mock ballot. But A-Rod What did you say he was at for the year, by the way? I forgot.
40.1%.
40.1%.
I haven't gotten to him yet, but
That's
whatever.
not a terrible opening for him.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it progresses that much over time.
Something that I'm intrigued by, I'll skip Jonathan Papelbon. Sorry. Andy Pettit is at exactly 20 votes, so he is staying on, but he's also netted -9 this year.
Yeah.
Last year he was at 13%. I think he could probably fall back below 10% this year.
Yeah, like when you're seeing those, like you're seeing a lot of like 8th, 9th, 10th guys from last year's ballot.
I think
falling
Andy
off.
Pettit will be a guy that like he's going to gain a lot of votes next year, but they're going to be people who had him before that just dropped him because they were the 10th player they added.
Yeah.
He was the 10th player. I think that like it could be it'll be like Andy Pettit like next year he's going to net plus 20 and get all the way up to like 17%.
Right.
Like I think that's where he's headed.
Yeah. You know what I see? I see there's going to be a big jump for Jeff Kent next year. I
Yeah?
think he's going to get like 50%.
No.
Or
Dude,
maybe,
no.
What did he get?
Last year he got 32.4% and he's netted -2, so he's probably going to be right around the same place.
No, well, he's netting -2 this year.
Yeah.
There's going to be some.
You think he nets enough to gain 19%? 18%?
Yeah, I think there's just
Really?
going to be such a push.
Just a pity. It's going to be like Fred McGriff, even though Fred McGriff
Yeah.
actually deserves it. Like a pity 10th year. Here we go.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, Fred McGriff, like, well, what was his net gain his last year on the ballot? Plus 62. Dude, he was plus 62, only to get 39% of the vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like a pity last year thing. Yeah, that was unfortunate. Although not a big year for like big gains on the ballot. Like I think because I think it's all spread out and so many people are getting dropped to make room for people, but like Todd Helton only has plus 12, which is the most net gain anyone has had all year, which is really weak for that. Like last year alone, Billy Wagner was plus 40. And he was like and Todd Helton was plus 49, Andrew Jones was plus 47. Like we really aren't seeing big gains because there's so much like
I just don't see any of that happening until next year.
Yeah, like next year they'll be back for sure because it won't be as stacked of a ballot, but it's like there's so much of a balancing act between like 10 players and it's like there's a few good first years and it's like you got to drop some people, add some people. Like it is not a good year for gains.
Right,
for sure.
Yeah, I think next year could play out a lot like last year in that you see some significant jumps from guys like
100%.
Roland and Helton and maybe hopefully Andrew Jones.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure.
Really disappointing year for gains, but like it's sort of just because
it's not inexplicable.
It's like sharing the wealth almost.
Yeah, it just makes sense considering how much with Ortiz coming in, Rodriguez coming in, I guess Rollins coming in, and you get to be optimistic next year because you have 4 or like at least 3 significant guys dropping off.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Sosa wasn't exactly significant, but yeah.
I mean, like just to give an example, like Billy Wagner had 6 drops this year, and I'm pretty sure they were all because like they were adding someone else.
True.
So, like those are votes he's getting back. Andrew Jones lost 7 votes. Those are votes he's probably getting back. Jeff Kent lost 8 votes. Those are probably votes he's getting back.
Yeah. Jeff Kent. My hot take of the 2023 Hall of Fame is there's going to be people like, but guys, did you know most career home runs by a second baseman? And then people are going to be like, oh wow.
Oh wow, congrats, you got 50. You really think 50%?
I think he'll be around there. He might get like 48.
Okay, wow.
48%.
Keep that one in mind for next year.
I could be terribly wrong, but
I'm okay with you being terribly wrong.
Yeah, me too.
Unless it's like, he actually got 75%.
Watch me just like try to manifest it. I put him back. I put him on the ballot, even though I never was.
Listen, hey, if you said you're not voting 10, I wouldn't mind if you vote for Jeff Kent just for that reason, as long as you're not taking your vote away from someone else.
Yeah.
Like, I remember last year, Bob Nightingale put LaTroy Hawkins on his ballot, like just because he was a nice guy. And he straight up said, "I only put him because he was a nice guy." And he had like an 8-player ballot, and I was like, you know what? Whatever.
Yeah.
Like he was gonna vote for 7, and he voted for 8. Cool.
Nice.
Like
Yeah.
everyone was like, understandably, people were like, "How can you vote for someone because he's a nice guy? Like that's stupid." And like it is, but you know what? Like whatever.
Yeah.
There are worse things out there.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, it's better than a blank ballot.
I'm very excited to see what gimmick Peter Gammons pulls this year because 2 years ago he dropped Larry Walker in his 10th year and had an 8-player ballot, and then last year he added Omar Vizquel after the allegations came out. So I'm very excited to see what gimmick he pulls this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I
The funniest thing
wonder.
ever was dropping Larry Walker in his 10th year on a less than 10-player ballot.
Right, that is odd.
I don't even think he had a column or anything either.
Does he vote for the steroid guys?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Maybe he drops one of the steroid guys.
He
Did
votes
you
for
guys-
Clemens but not Bonds.
Yeah. Did you guys know what these guys did in the early 2000s? I did not know. I just thought they were great ball players.
Peter Gammons discovers the steroid era in 2022.
I thought
I'm trying to find his ballot.
I thought Clemens winning the ERA title at 42 was just pretty natural.
You know what? I think I would have voted for Roger Clemens if he had 8 Cy Youngs.
Yeah.
You know, I had to put 10, but I remembered that I voted for Jeff Kent for MVP in 2000, so it had to go to him. Sorry, Barry, you can't be on there again. Peter Gammons. Okay, yeah, 2 years ago, Bonds, Clemens, dropped Todd Helton, Derek Jeter, Jeff Kent, Scott Rowland, Kurt Schilling, and then dropped Larry Walker on a 6-player ballot.
Shake my head.
Yeah. Very funny that he put Todd Helton there in his first year and then dropped him in the second. And I don't know if he added him back the next year or not.
Yeah, I feel like he might just have like 6 darts, a bunch of players on a board.
Yeah.
And just tossing darts, but not all 25 for sure, because he's not putting he didn't vote for Aramis Ramirez last year or anything, but like 12, 13 quality candidates, and he's just throwing darts. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's
not even close to everyone.
That's not everyone.
No, we're at Manny Ramirez, dude.
Oh yeah, Manny. Ramirez is what, in his 6th?
Yeah.
6th year.
He's probably not gonna make it ever.
Yeah, no.
He still isn't top. I don't think he's topped 30%.
I will vote for him for the first time next year.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I've been voting for him for a bunch of years now. Yeah, he's at 37%. He's netted -4. Maybe he'll get to like 30%. I don't know, probably not. Last year he was at 28.2%.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever. A-Rod is at 40%, 40.1%. I think A-Rod's going to have a massive drop. I think A-Rod ends up at like 25%.
After the...
Yeah, I think the private ballots are going to destroy him.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah. It's going to be funny. David Ortiz gets in and A-Rod's at like 25%. I honestly think there's going to be a 15% difference between actual election results and pre-election results.
Right.
Scott Rowland is at 70.1%. Last year he had a 7.6% drop-off between election and pre-election. So if he had that this year, he would be down at around 63%.
Nice. Not nice that he drops, but
Yeah.
Where did you say he was at? My bad.
70.1%.
That's great.
Yeah, and if he doesn't have that drop off, if he gets to 65% this year, which would be a 12% gain from last year, he would need to gain the same amount.
Yeah, like he. And
who says he
can't? Considering all the guys that are dropping off after this year.
What was Rowland's pre-election results last year?
But yeah, like when you take into consideration how many guys are going to drop off after next year, I feel like that is likely to happen.
Yeah, I think he's going to be added to a lot of ballots just because it's like Scott Rowland's gonna go from being like the 4th or 5th, maybe 6th best player on the ballot to being the 2nd best player on the ballot next year behind A-Rod.
Yeah.
And maybe Manny as well.
Yeah.
But even then, you could probably make a case he was better than Manny.
Yeah, had more B WAR into that.
Results? His pre-results was 60.5%, and he ended up at 52%. So it was 7.6 with decimals included. But yeah, that is encouraging. He is up 10% pre-results from where he was at that time last year.
Nice.
So that's solid. Jimmy Rollins has 21 votes. Congrats to him for staying on the ballot.
Jimmy Rollins has 21 votes.
Yep.
Nice.
So he's gonna return next year. Kurt Schilling is at 61%. It's been nice knowing you, Kurt.
Yep.
I'm honestly I'm glad it's over. I'm glad we just don't have to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, after I talked about it in the Hall of Fame episode, but after he said, I want to be taken off, I'm requesting to be taken off this ballot. I'm like, well, I can't really toot this guy's horn anymore.
Yeah, you can't.
he has to be taken off.
Yeah,
it's gonna be hard.
So yeah, he's at 61%. He'll probably, I don't know, it doesn't matter. He was at 71.1% last year.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever. Happens.
Last year probably was his best shot, considering I guess.
Yeah. Well, you know what's so funny? He had 70% 2 years ago, and then in 2020, I mean, you wouldn't believe what happened in 2020. All of that, a lot of it opened a lot of people's eyes. And, if that never happened, Kurt Schilling probably should have gotten in last year. The world just became more vocal about not letting people like Kurt Schilling get a platform.
Yeah, it's funny. Most players were looking at, wins above replacement, WAR 7, Jaws. With Kurt Schilling, we're looking at his Twitter.
Literally. I mean, that's literally what it became. He was literally going to make it. He was at 70% 2 years ago with 2 years left on the ballot. It was well, Kurt Schilling next year will be it. And then all of that happened, and he got to 71.1%, and then he asked to be taken off the ballot, and he's going to fall off.
Yeah. It's just, I did not, I don't think I even addressed him.
Number one conspiracy theory, the pandemic was created by the baseball writers so that Kurt Schilling wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's a good, I mean, maybe, I feel like Kurt Schilling probably already tweeted about that.
It was it was created by the 30% who didn't vote for him.
Or he made what's it called?
One of those right wing social media
I know
spin-offs.
The most recent one, maybe not right wing, but was Getter. God, what was the
I don't know.
The one that starts with a P or something. It has a red.
I don't
logo.
know. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. God.
One of those.
Yeah. Oh man, it's escaping my mind.
I'm just gonna be talking about Billy Wagner. You're gonna be like that. That was it.
Honestly.
Gary Sheffield. Interesting. Because he was at 48% this year. He'll probably be right around where he was last year. He was at 40.6% after last year's election. He'll probably fall below 40. He's in his 8th year, so he's probably never getting in. But 8 gained votes and 10 lost votes. He actually gained a pretty decent amount. How many people gained more votes than him? Todd Helton.
Than who?
Than Gary Sheffield. Todd Helton, Andrew Jones, Scott Rowland, tied with Sammy Sosa and Billy Wagner. He actually he netted -2, but he's a guy who's gonna have a big jump next year. I think next year in his 9th year he gets above 50.
Yeah, very true. Because I mean, there might be some guys who are voting, Bonds, Sosa, Clemens, who are not going to be able to vote for them anymore and might be like, oh, let's give Gary Sheffield a shot here.
Can you imagine Gary Sheffield getting a huge gain next year? It's guys, all the steroid guys are gone except for him and A-Rod, and now we're voting Sheffield.
Yeah, what the heck?
What are we doing? Sammy Sosa, 24.6%. Yeah, not happening.
Yeah. Yeah, that's never really been
That was
happening.
never going to happen. Yeah. Last year he was at 17%. Sammy Sosa just never moved. Like his Hall of Fame case, like it was just in the same purgatory for 10 years.
Yeah, and Sammy Sosa like weird, like crazy weird, like how his numbers like are brought to, his Hall of Fame case, because less than 60 at least B-WAR, but still like 600 home run club.
He debuted in 2013 at 12.5%. It went as below as 6.6% in 2015, and then it went back up to 17% last year, and it'll be at like 20% this year. Cause what is it? What has he netted this year? +1. Yeah. He'll get some pity 10th year votes from the private ballots, I'm sure. Yeah. Anyway, Omar Vizquel, woo! He gone. It ain't happening. Dude, 0 gained votes, 46 drops, net of -46.
Yeah, what percentage is he at?
11.2%, after getting 49% last year.
Now what do we set the over-under at for percent gained post-election?
I say he gets you know what? I'll say he gets the 20.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
The private ballots love him. He had a 7% gain from the private ballots last year. I'd be willing to bet that's the highest in history.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, I'll say he gets to 21%. He'll gain 10%.
Just because. And then last but not least, Billy Wagner, 7th year, 49.2%. He's gained +10. He was at 46.4% last year. 16 votes gained, 6 lost. He'll get those votes next year. I think we could probably see him get to 50 this year.
Wagner, yeah.
Yeah. He'll have 3 more years to get another 25%.
Yeah, I could see him being like a 10th year elected guy where like people find the appreciation for him.
Yeah.
And compare him to the other closers, and like I could see him being a 10th year. So that'll be in what 2025.
Yeah.
So, Billy Wagner 2025, look forward to it.
Hope
Going to
so.
the Hall of Fame. But yeah, I mean that's good stuff there. I guess, some takeaways are, the big gains aren't happening this year. Probably next year is when we're going to see more big gains from, the guys who deserve more recognition, like the Wagners, the Rollins, the Heltons, the Andrew Joneses. That's when, next year.
Oh wait, Peter Gammons already put his ballot out. What the heck?
Oh man,
I missed it.
Live This is the actual live reaction.
I don't even know. He probably put. What if he was like the first person and I just somehow missed it?
I have so much anticipation in my heart right now.
Peter Gammons. Okay. Bonds, Clemens, out of Helton. He brought him back.
Nice.
Out of Andrew Jones, Jeff Kent, David Ortiz, Scott Rowland, Kurt Schilling, Gary Sheffield, Billy Wagner. 10-player ballot.
Yeah.
Nothing weird. No funny business.
I don't hate it. It's just like, Jeff Kent.
Didn't drop anyone. Added 2 people. Oh, he dropped. Wait. Dropped Omar Vizquel.
Oh.
He and 45 others. Nothing new.
Look at Peter Gammons.
Nothing weird.
That's like a solid ballot.
It's a good ballot. I mean, Kent, but whatever.
Yeah. You can't ask for from perfection.
I don't think there's been a single ballot that has replicated mine perfectly because no one's voting for Bobby Abreu.
That's true. Yeah.
I stand by it, though. The most common ballot, because the tracker just added this feature, the most common ballot, 5 players put down a Bonds, Clemens, Helton, Jones, Ortiz, Rowland, Schilling, Sheffield, Sosa, Wagner ballot. And they were Mark Craig, Evan Grant, Dan Hayes, David Lennon, Alex Spear.
Alex Peters. Sorry. Wait, say that again. That might be mine.
Bonds, Clemens, Helton. No, you had Abreu.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Bonds, Clemens, Helton, Jones, Ortiz, Rowland, Schilling, Sheffield, Sosa, Wagner.
Oh yeah,
and you didn't have Wagner.
I didn't have Sheffield or Wagner. Yeah.
Mhm.
Did they have Schilling or no? Oh, they had Schilling.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we kind of went over the takeaways there. Got over an hour in a lockout, so there we go. And it is getting dark in this room. We did not put the lights on in anticipation, but the daylight keeps getting longer as we head
It
to.
does. How long till daylight savings time in March? I always forget when it ends and when it starts.
I think it's the second Sunday of March is when daylight savings happens.
It starts. Okay, it starts in March 13th. That's like right when we're on spring break.
Yeah. And then I get to complain about my sleep schedule being off for 10 days.
I get to be in Florida.
So yeah, hopefully we'll be watching spring training games by then.
Hopefully I'll be at one.
Yeah, exactly. So we hope you enjoyed this one. If you want to follow us on social media, follow me on Twitter at Chris_Gianta. Follow Daniel on both Twitter and Instagram at Daniel_Curran, and follow the show Instagram at Above Replacement Radio for all the show needs. And check out our ballots in visual form, even though we already announced them on the podcast. Check out those on the show podcast, or no, on the podcast Instagram. My bad. And we hope to see you next time, whenever that may be, where we'll be talking all the happenings or lack thereof in Major League Baseball once again. See you then.
This conversation is over.